Hello again. Today's project is going to be reattaching the shank of a briar pipe that's snapped off cleanly. It's getting more and more common these days as this particular type of pipe becomes more popular. The trunk, the cones where both the bowl and the shank are a cone and it meets in kind of a narrow spot in the center. Obviously the weak point is where they attach. You get much leverage on there, they'll break. So this is a Becker. It's a high-grade pipe held in considerable esteem by a number of collectors. So this one deserves the full meal deal as far as the best possible repair. Now this business of putting pipes back together runs the full gamut from a hose clamp, which I've actually seen in practice, to carpenter's glue, wood glue. Just stick them back together and call it good. But we're not talking tobacco access device here. We're talking about a high-grade collectible, in this case from a maker who's no longer living. This can't be replaced. It has to be fixed. So we're going to do the best possible repair, which means if we're good, it will not even be possible to tell that it was broken when I'm finished. So here's the diagram of a cross section, so to speak, of what it'll look like when it's completed. And the red, of course, is the break. It's back together. Now this was drilled a bit goofy to necessitate the unusual shape. We've got the draft hole at the very top of the mortise here, and it actually cuts a little keyhole down here in this bottom edge, so it was running up against the limit. And it's a little bit egg-shaped. If you look at the you can kind of see it here. It's a little bit egg-shaped, but we can accommodate that, I'm pretty sure. And what's going to happen, we're going to take a piece of stainless steel tubing whose inside diameter is the same as the present airway. And then taking a very carefully selected drill bit that is only as much larger in diameter as the wall thickness times 2 of the tube, we will drill relieve the hole. We'll enlarge the airway hole by the same amount on each side, or all the way around if you're thinking of it in 3 dimensions, the current airway. And it'll be exactly as long as to the base of the mortise here. So this new line that I added, and I'm now filling in, think of that as the walls of the stainless steel tube, so that when the owner gets the pipe back, the only indication there will be that this was repaired is looking down that hole. When they take the stem out, it'll be shiny instead of wooden, and that is it. The outside we lucked out because this is a sandblast, a two-tone sandblast, very much like a Dunhill shell here. We can fake it till we make it, and by that I mean dress the joint and restain and so on to where it's invisible. Now if this were a smooth pipe, it doesn't matter how smooth you get it, or rather how thin you make the line, you can always see it. But in a pipe like this, you should be able to camouflage it. And the only word of warning here for any of you guys who fix these on your own, don't be tempted to do a lot of experimental fitting here and playing around with that, because you just do it one time to make sure that you don't have any fibers sticking up. If you take a pipe and it snaps off like this and there's a little piece of wood sticking up like a splinter or something, and you start tugging away at it with a pair of tweezers or whatever, in any way, shape, or form, you make that surface not match in 3 dimensions to its mate, you're going to have a gap, and there's no way to get rid of it. You'll just keep pulling out fibers and grinding stuff down, and it's hopeless. You want to keep this as pristine as when it originally snapped, and you might have to clean up an edge or something, but be very careful about that. Also, do not be tempted to drill holes in the face of this and put like brass pins or stainless steel pins or something in there. There's basically no way to do that and get them to align well enough that you'll have an invisible join, and it's unnecessary. We're not putting the stainless steel in there for the reason that most people think we are. They think it's for strength. Certainly it adds strength, but that's not its primary function, but I'll talk about that later. So anyway, this is just the battle plan, so to speak. So here's the patient. Here's where we're going with it, and the subsequent steps will show you the tools and the procedures to bring this into reality, the materials that we're going to use and so forth. So that's it, and I'll prepare some things and fire up step 2 here in just a minute.